What is up guys, Jay for Gaming here and welcome to my quick review of the Spanish Grand Prix. So it'd been 3 weeks since the previous race and that's pretty much a good time window for all the teams to bring loads of upgrades for the start of the European season. As we all know, Hamilton has pretty much dominated the first 4 races, apart from Malaysia where Vettel only just got the better of him. So it was up to Rosberg and Vettel to step up their games and take Hamilton off his perch, and it all started in qualifying where Rosberg took pole position from Hamilton. It seemed like in Q2 when Rosberg put in a time about half a second quicker than Hamilton that was a statement. It put Hamilton under pressure for Q3 where Rosberg pretty easily took the pole position 2 laps quicker than Hamilton. And once again it was Vettel in 3rd, the biggest challenger, but the 2 Toro Rossos in 5th and 6th, what a great performance from them too. The Toro Rosso did seem very quick in qualifying, but it was another story in the race which I'll talk about in a little bit. Raikkonen once again has problems in qualifying. He qualified 7th and really should be at least 4th. I mean, I know Bottas is putting on a bit of pressure, but Raikkonen was nearly 2 seconds off Rosberg's best qualifying time, which just really isn't good enough. And in the second half of the field it was just 2 by 2. It just shows the difference between all the cars at the moment. McLaren obviously have upgraded the car, turned the engine up, more power, and it seems to be working a little bit. Looks like they're probably on par with Sauber, obviously ahead of Force India, who have had their upgraded car delayed till the Austrian Grand Prix, so a bit of a struggle for them. And then the 2 Manners at the back. So race day, it was very sunny, of course, sunny Spain. Oh, love a holiday. But from the start Rosberg got a fantastic start, just like Hamilton has done for most races this season. Rosberg easily progressed into the lead. Vettel got Hamilton into the first corner. Better start than him. I think Bottas was close to getting Hamilton as well, so he could have been up there in 3rd. And the battle between the Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen and Toro Rosso was fantastic. One Toro Rosso was blocking out Raikkonen, the other one was catching up, and it was just a lot of toing and froing. And finally Raikkonen overtook the 2 of them, which was very important on the first lap, got himself up to 5th. And then further down the field there were some pretty good battles, mainly involving the 2 Lotuses and the Red Bulls. Going into the first corner, Grosjean went for a move on one of the Red Bulls. I think he went wide, and then over the rumble strips, came back onto the track, and Maldonado, his teammate, went for an overtake, and yeah, that didn't end too well. They made a bit of contact. It looked like he was tied to tyre, but somehow Maldonado's rear wing was damaged. It didn't really seem to be affecting his performance because he really did gain quite a few positions at the start. I think it was like 2 or 3 at the start, and then overtook his teammate, and then I think it was both the Red Bull, so got himself up to 8th position, and he was really having a fantastic race considering he'd retired from the first 4 races this season. Alonso got himself just outside the top 10. Button was really struggling. I mean, he was down in 18th place, just ahead of the Manners. That's how bad it was. So into the first pit stops, Hamilton just couldn't get past Vettel, so he changed his strategy to go for a 3-stopper. I think 2-stopper was probably the optimum one for this weekend, but Hamilton went for the undercut. Sadly for him, he had a slow pit stop, slow rear left tyre, and then he came out behind Maldonado. Didn't really slow him up too much, but obviously lost a bit of momentum there, and Vettel easily maintained 2nd place. Rosberg stayed on a 2-stop strategy and pretty much just dominated. He was 8 seconds ahead of the chasing Vettel and Hamilton, and just was calm, collected in the lead. But the 2 cars behind were going for a 3-stop as Vettel was trying to cover off Hamilton. At first that was, but then Hamilton came in for a 2nd stop and probably would have got the undercut to take 2nd place. So I think the Ferrari team decided just to try something different, because I think Hamilton would have easily got 2nd, so they might as well go for something else, try and get 2nd that way. But it didn't work at all. 2 stops, just didn't have the pace. The harder tyres were really slow, to be fair. A load of cars struggled with them, especially the Toro Rossos. But early on the Toro Rosso just had no straight line speed at all. Cars behind just easily breezed past them, even like the Red Bulls with the same power unit, the Renault one, just breezing past the Toro Rossos, so they definitely got the setup wrong. And they qualified 5th and 6th, so there was definitely a big issue with the setup, because I think at the end of the first stint they were about 11th and 12th. It was that bad. So at the front, Rosberg was easily in the lead. Hamilton had come out for his final pit stop ahead of Vettel, and that was pretty much it at the front. Raikkonen was going for another alternate strategy, as he does, because he can't seem to qualify in the top 4, and then he loses time behind slower cars and has to do something different to get himself up there. It worked in Bahrain, but it didn't work this week because he came out in 6th and then ended up overtaking Massa, and then caught up quite easily to the back of Bottas, but just couldn't get close enough. I think the dirty air effect is a big issue this season. Cars don't seem to be able to follow each other very well, and even though DRS seemed very overpowered, the one on the start-finish straight, Raikkonen just couldn't get close enough. But yeah, DRS was so overpowered, you just saw cars flying past each other. It should be to give the car behind the chance of an overtake, maybe get the car side by side with the one he's trying to attack, but it just seems too overpowered, and there's too many. I don't like these artificial overtakes at the moment. I mean, I prefer less overtaking, I don't mind as long as it's genuine moves, and you can tell I'm a bigger fan of the early 2000s than this current F1 season, but there's some decent racing still. It's mainly down the field. I mean, it's not the most exciting at the front, it's mainly to do with strategy. So yeah, Bottas finished 4th ahead of Raikkonen. As we all know what happened with the top 3. They're pretty much the same podium as every single race apart from Bahrain where Raikkonen was up there. But yeah, Bottas held off Raikkonen for 4th. Bottas, who is out of contract at the end of the season, I can see him going to Ferrari. I don't think Raikkonen's contract is going to get extended, and Bottas and Vettel for next season, I think that would be a fantastic combination, because Bottas, even though he was in the slower car, he did it in Bahrain. He held off a Ferrari, and he was under pressure, but he held his head up high and just kept the car behind him, and it was a great job. Massa recovering from a poor qualifying as well, got himself up to 6th. And then the Red Bulls, I mean, apart from the front 6 on the lead lap, everyone else pretty much gets lapped. And it was Ricciardo in 7th. You saw him battling early on with the Lotuses and Toro Rossos, but yeah, pretty uneventful race after that. But when you do see Ricciardo this season overtaking, he always seems to be making mistakes and going too deep. You saw him go off the track of the first corner. I think it was a move on Carlos Sainz, and yeah, he's not as good this season with the car. Obviously the car's not as good, but you'd expect Ricciardo to stop making mistakes and not go off the track, which he seems to be doing this season. But Grosjean got some more points for Lotus. He obviously did make a bit of contact with Maldonado, which kind of ruined Maldonado's race. I mean, he had to make an extra pit stop to take a part of the rear wing off because he was flopping around. I'm surprised he didn't get the black and orange flag, to be fair, but he did end up retiring again. 5 retirements in a row. Maldonado is so unlucky at times. I know sometimes he causes his own problems, but yeah, it's a real shame for him. He really could have got at least 8th, I think, in this race. He probably would have beaten his teammate. So unlucky for him there. But 9th was Carlos Sainz. He overtook Kvyat on the last lap. Going into the first corner on the last lap, they were side by side. Kvyat locked up, hit Carlos Sainz off of the first corner. I think Sainz was ahead, and Martin Brundle did say the Sainz would get a penalty, just to state that this is before any penalties being given. So if he does get one, then I apologise, but I don't think Sainz should be given a penalty. He was pushed off the track, and I think Kvyat should have given him more space. So I think Sainz will maintain 9th there. Verstappen ended up in 11th. Not the best race for the Toro Rossos. And then it's the 2 Saubers and the 2 Force Indias. You didn't really see them too much in the race. They weren't really involved. But not the best for them. Button in 16th, they struggled throughout, and I don't think the Honda partnership started very well at all, so they've got a lot of work to do. And a shout out to the 2 Manners, who both finished once again. Stevens ahead of Merry. So that's a good job from them. So that was the Spanish Grand Prix. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed this review. Please leave a like if you did. And I'll catch you in the next review, which will be the Monaco Grand Prix. So goodbye.